Good morning. This is Morten, Deborah, Pat from the last day here at Printing United in Las Vegas. Ladies, I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit tired now.
Oh, come on,
you're very
really?
tired, my friend, yeah.
No, I mean, really. Look, trade shows are energizing. It's been a long time since we've gotten together. You got to wear the right shoes. You got to change your shoes often, right? This is rules we learned for doing Drupa, right?
Of course.
And you just have to keep hydrating.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then as long as you stay hydrated and you stay energized, you can make it through all of Hall Central and all of Hall North.
I mean, a lot of times.
Back and forth
I don't
and
know,
back
I've been through
and
this
forth
entire,
and back and
yeah,
forth.
entire show. I can't even count anymore.
I don't know about you, but I think there was like a lot of speculations before the show about the number of attendees. I haven't heard any numbers yet, but feeling the crowd and just feel the emotion on the floor, both in the North and the Central Hall, I think it was been good. Or what is your opinion? What do you think, Deborah?
I think that, like everything, it's cyclical. There were times where certain areas were really, really crowded, and then there were times when they weren't. And I'm not saying that that is new to a trade show, but definitely there were pockets of time. And I think there was also a real distinction with the attendees that the Central Hall was the SGIA Hall. That was like their show. And the North Hall was like the Graph Expo, the old Graph Expo show. So I think you had, depending upon who was here at any time, like one side was a little more dense than the other side, but there was a lot of flowing back and forth. To your point, there was a lot of people milling around.
I can tell you, and I don't know if you know, but I was having a dinner with other editors yesterday, right? And actually, I can't remember if it was Fort Bowers or Max Supers that told me that they have like people doing surveys on the floor about satisfactory, right? And from the 2019 edition in Dallas, the rating at that specific time during the show was 7.0, and yesterday the satisfaction level was 9.2 out of 10. So I just think that's a really good example of, I don't know, but I think that this has way more gear compared to Dallas. I think that the vendors have done a lot of things to actually make good demos and good print samples. Or, I mean, you have seen some print samples, Pat.
I have. So look, every show is its own thing. Trying to compare to something that happened pre-pandemic is a little risky on a good day. Right now, everyone is so excited to see anybody. Right. We're going to give it a 10, right? I mean, because there's people.
But still, I think, in all
I think
honesty,
qualitatively, I think we saw the vendors all work very hard to bring their A game because they haven't seen people either. Right, so there was every reason for them.
And a lot of them have reported sales.
And there have been planned sales and there have been unplanned sales, and so I think that all those things are good. I think that one of the things you always have to look at a trade show, you have to look at how many unique buyers have walked onto the floor, whether they buy now or they buy 6 months from now. I mean, trade shows have a long tail.
But as you said on our first Bonjour, you said that exhibitors don't only value the show based on leads, right?
Right, and you got to look at the long tail. You have to make sure that that you and your accounting people understand and your sales management understand that people you talk to today who might not have said they were interested may actually buy from you in the next 6 months to a year, and the show should get credit for that as you're looking at where to make your investment next time.
If I could just add to that for a second, it's also like if I were an exhibitor, I would be looking at the companies that were visiting me and then looking and seeing, am I not serving a certain segment of people who visited me with content, with more ways of getting them involved in why whatever they came to see or whatever they saw in the company to help them create more meaningful connection of why it's important to them. So I really do hope that everybody makes analysis of this, and I completely agree with Pat. There's a lot of people out there who are just like, I'm at a show, so they're going to give it a 10. I'd be interested in and there's not a lot of product launches here because those have happened, but the whole thing is that no one has seen it. So this is very exciting for a lot of people. Next year will be, I think, more of the measurement of some sort of normal back to a baseline, as Pat mentioned.
Well, a follow-up question to you, Deborah. I mean, everybody knows you from Project Peacock and from Girls Who Print and all the things you do. Do you hear, your voice being resonated in the halls when you talk to vendors and the visitors that you have talked to?
I think that I have seen a real explosion in the interest in Girls Who Print in a way that, people were chasing me down to get a button. It's like I've been waiting to get a button for 2 years. And so I think in that sense that, it's important. But I'm also going to say that I was in a couple of booths and there were no women in there at all. Like looking at presses and things like that. So I still think there's a big gap, but yes, the 2 years that everybody was home, they actually got to see what I do all the time, because usually they're on the road. So in that sense, more people, knew about everything I was doing, and they were really excited to get involved with it next year. So yay, everybody.
I want to say something, and maybe also talk a little to you about that, because you are so much into workflow, Pat. We did an interview with Steve Metcalf from AMP yesterday. Some know him from Air Motion System AMS Baldwin, right? Yeah. He will, by the way, be at the non-event.
And I will be excited to see him again there.
So did you have time to go and see what they're working on?
So I actually had a chance to talk to them in Italy when I did the show in Italy, and earlier this year, and got all the update on all the things they're working on.
I think it's pretty exciting, actually, because it's a vendor agnostic approach to how to use IoT in a way that's a little bit different from.
And if you don't know what AMP is, and if you don't understand what we're saying when we're saying IoT, so Internet of Things, right? Connecting everything that you can.
I always think of your refrigerator when I think of Internet.
My refrigerator is connected. My refrigerator is online.
Yes.
And so what AMP does is it allows they have a platform for sensors. Now, the fun thing is, if you buy a digital press today, there are like a lot of sensors in there that you can actually get feedback off.
Also in analog presses.
Well, so here's where they come in. You might have older equipment. You might have an older analog press. You might have an older finishing device. You might have an older plate setter. There are all sorts of devices that you've invested in, you don't want to get rid of because they work great, but they're not telling you anything. And what AMP can help you do is place sensors in those machines in appropriate places and feed that data back to a dashboard that then also provides some analysis. And that's why I'm excited.
I can tell you, I was asking Steve whether the next iteration of AMP could be that you take the data and then you can make some actionable things, because when you have JDF integrated, when
it's
you have
already doable.
Yeah, precisely.
Today, with just a small matter of programming.
But just, I was just thinking of it from the perspective that you have a platform that in, phase 1, phase 2 gather data, and the data vendor agnostic can, start managing your print company. I mean, we still...
And that's doable today.
Yeah,
those projects, those programs, those solutions exist today.
And we are still on the path for lights out production. And that is not just because of...
there are people doing it today.
Not just because of labor.
It takes a long time in our industry,
does,
right?
Yeah.
So the people who are doing it today, we love you, right? We think you're fabulous. But that doesn't mean that if you aren't doing it, you're already behind.
And
there's opportunity.
And I feel sorry for you two ladies. Because I'm just thinking, just a second, think about lights out production. You can't go and see any print sample, right? There's no light.
Trust me, those samples emerge from the print room eventually.
Okay.
But
again, yeah.
Well, Cornine has a neon glow-in-the-dark shirt over there, so you never know.
Some light there. Okay, that's fine.
Doesn't take much.
No. Last day today, do you have any exciting plans for today, or how is it from your perspective?
So I have stops to make. It's really been busy. All of us have been running around like crazy. And we've only been very rarely in the same place at the same time.
That's true.
So there's been so much going on. So for me today is a chance to go check in on the places I haven't gotten into the last couple of days.
So this is like now the time where you catch up with the things you haven't seen?
Right, so a lot of the back of the central hall, which is the sign and display, the traditional SGIA hall, I have a lot of places there that I walked by really fast and now I want to look at them.
And I tell you, walking really fast, you made an excellent Unicorn Award winner yesterday.
Cool,
Yeah,
right?
it's so cool.
Yeah.
And that was more like almost by accident that you came to the far end of Central Hall, and then you had like these amazing clip-on kind of covers that you can do on your own, right?
Yeah, well, actually, Simon McCauley from Artsy Couture hunted me down. He said, you have to come see this. You have to come see this. Yeah, and it's patented and it's completely unique. And watch the video. We're not going to say anything more about it, but shout out to Artsy Couture and for really helping printers get into a very popular consumer niche right now with no equipment purchase needed. It's literally a kit. Go check it out, everybody.
We did some fun yesterday, and I know you would not think of it as fun, but I will tell anyway.
Okay.
We were at the
Danish fun.
No, it was actually European because we were with Sabine from Paperspace, and she's German, you know, right?
Yeah.
So when we were on camera, we spoke German. Say this is Morten from Drupa. So we played like 10 seconds where we like just pretended that it was Drupa, and it was just like. So it's maybe a shout out to Sabine Gelderman and to Drupa, right? I mean, yeah.
Shout out to Drupa.
Yeah. So for us, we actually today we still have a little filming to do. We're doing a walkthrough at the Tech Now booth to see how their Revolution 50 series works, and then across the hall we go to Standard Finishing representing Horizon and Hunkler in America. So we are going to also talk to some of the really nice people from Horizon and from Hunkler, talking about the equipment, right?
Yeah.
And then I think.
And for example, TV goes to Kodak to look at the new Ascend.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of you have been reading some of the articles on INKISH News about workflow and automation by Diego Diaz, and he's actually kind of an architect for the Ascend machine, even though he doesn't work for Kodak anymore, right? So, yeah. So, ladies, I want to thank you for the collaboration here during the show days. I'm truly sorry that I was messing up a little bit on the plan here this morning, but now we're here. And I hope it didn't cost you too much money to postpone. That's great. Thank you. Bye.
Bonsoir, au revoir.
Oh, that's Jan. Okay, hi Jan. Oh, can I say one more thing? I want to have a big shout out to my fantastic filmers. I know they hate being on camera, but you are so important to us.
Amazing. And I want to add one more thing. Everyone who has seen the Project Peacock videos, the first thing that they say is how freaking amazing they look. So thank you. Thank you to your team and everybody. Thank you, Jan.